When people tell you that the answers are inside yourself, we all hear that and it's like, oh my God, how cheesy. Like, what does that even mean? Oh my gosh, it just answered everything. That's why you have a distinct, like, unique design.
If you know enough right now to help one person, then you know enough. If you're holding back, then that's a problem because there's people who need you in the world.
I really want to know, what is this problem that always comes up for me? I really just need to zero in there. There's a different way. There's a different message. There's something else that they're meant to do.
It's owning your gift and knowing yourself. And as you really grow in your self-worth and your understanding that I have something valuable just from my experience and my knowledge, and that alone is so valuable and can help people.
It's putting the power back where it belongs, and that's in the knowledge and the hands of the person I'm coaching.
There's something about your unique energy. There's something about the way that you had to live life and your experiences that just affects people a little bit differently. That might be the one thing that they needed.
The way in which I was meant to do it was really powerful, which is to bring people back to their purpose.
Study yourself and it will change your life.
Yeah, only you. It's only you.
You are the one that you've been waiting for. No need to knock open the door. Take the leap and be the dream.
Are you ready to get paid for your passion? It starts with knowing what you want and holding the vision of what's possible through every twist and turn life throws at you. With the inspiration of those who have gone before, you can bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You will gain the confidence and muster the motivation to leap into the life of your dreams. It's time to become your next level self, reach your goals, and thrive doing what you love. Welcome to Be the Dream. Hey guys, it is time to be the dream, and today we are going to talk about human design and studying yourself, which is incredibly important, and it's a lifelong work and journey, and the more that you do it, the more that you can step into the life of your dreams, because how can you do that if you don't know what your dreams are, and if you're not willing to explore what you really want, then it's going to be really hard to step into being the dream. So today we have an incredible conversation with Sasha Greenidge. She is a certified intuitive mindset coach who guides high-achieving women to break free from the silent struggles that keep them feeling stuck, unseen, and unfulfilled in their relationships and careers. With a unique blend of Gene Keys, human design, and transformational coaching, she helps her clients reconnect with their true selves and rewrite their stories to lead lives filled with purpose, clarity, and empowerment. She draws on her journey of overcoming codependency, victim mentality, and she inspires women to release old narratives and reclaim their personal power. She knows firsthand the courage it takes to step out of overwhelm and into alignment, and she offers a safe, confidential space for her clients to express their truth, find clarity, and take meaningful steps toward transformation. She has a signature program called The Becoming, a year to own your story and lead your life to redefine everything. And she also has a Rewrite Your Story sessions, which are incredible, and she's dedicated to helping women redefine success on their terms and live unapologetically authentic lives. So today we're going to talk about human design, which, if you don't already know, I'm obsessed with. I adore human design. It completely changed my life, and I would love to help you get to know more about your human design. If this is the first time you're hearing about it, we're going to talk about how entirely life-changing it is in this conversation. So let's dive in. You might already know this, but for the majority of people, just the idea of public speaking is scarier than death. Yet, public speaking skills have become an essential part of life. Whether you're talking to your child's teacher, volunteering in church, or you have a dream to make a difference with your voice. But if you're in flight, fight, freeze, or fawn, your brain will not work the way you want it to, and your message will be muddled. Announcing the Fearless and Free on Stage workshop. This is your chance to learn how to conquer stage fright and rid yourself of the fear that your mind will go blank as soon as someone puts you on the spot. We're going to go in depth on how to rewire your fear into excitement and energy, powerful mindset shifts to overcome anxiety, practical techniques to calm nerves instantly, the secret to authentic, engaging presence, and steps to speak with confidence and clarity. This is a free 3-day workshop happening on March 26th, 27th, and 28th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time over Zoom. I hope to see you there. The link is in the show notes. Hi, Sasha. I'm so thrilled to get to talk with you today. I love your entire message about rewriting your story and owning your power. And I'm so thrilled to ask you about what brought you into this work and what made you want to transform people's lives. What led you to this?
Well, it's always a roundabout answer, but a lot of things came in at the same time. I have been an educator for 20 years now, and I'm absolutely amazing at it. I really take pride in it. I'm an amazing mom. Kind of have sucked as a wife for a bit, but I say all that because everything came to a head about, I'm 43 now, when I was about 35 years old, and keeping up the super mom bit, and really living for those kids, and really just trying to be like, oh, yep, yes, I'll do anything. Yes, 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 at work, and just getting more accolades, but also more work. And so I was really burning out. And in terms of my relationship, I really was starting to get really resentful there. And so I was kind of looking for an outlet too. And so I had joined like a network marketing company. And I was really successful at that as well until that also became a source of burnout. So all around me, it's just putting out, I had a bonfire at this point because I was trying to put out little fires, and then everything just kind of like imploded and exploded.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of like was just, if you can't, you hit rock bottom, so to speak. Like I really hit rock bottom, and I didn't know what to do because I always asked everybody else what to do. Like I was always just saying to my husband, "Oh my goodness, that this is going on. What should I do?" Or my best friend, "What should I do?" Or running to my parents. I don't know, because nobody really allowed me to fall and to pick myself back up. And they continually allowed me to just kind of be a puppet. And so that's kind of where my story begins, because I I asked out to God, universe. I was like,
Yeah.
is this all that there is of my life? Because I'm doing a lot of like good, but I'm grossly unhappy. And the only everybody else is benefiting, and everybody else is not always happy, and I'm working so hard. And that's kind of where this journey really started, because it wasn't, you just can't keep going after trying to make other people happy and pleasing them. It's an
Yep. Looking
impossible
outside of
task.
ourselves.
Yeah.
We're taught our whole lives to look outside of ourselves for
Yeah, there's
happiness,
got
to
to be
look.
an answer with somebody else. And that
Yeah.
was the biggest joke I have ever
Yeah.
looking back now, like it's you're doomed for failure. So if anybody's doing that right now, it's not there.
The
It's
answer's
not in
inside you.
anybody. Yeah, always.
Yeah. Well, and now
So
I'm just dying of curiosity as you like probably soon found human design. Like what is
yeah, so it started off with Gene Keys, which is a similar modality
yeah.
to human design. And I found that that was the easiest way to start. Like my coach had kind of like started us off with human design. And the way Richard is, he's more calm and poetic and philosophical. And Ra Uru, who is,
Yeah.
the creator of human design, he's a little bit more like rugged and pessimistic, and
Yeah.
but there's a place for both. And I think it's really important to do both, because Richard focuses more on your life's work and things like that. And but there's so much to dive into in
Oh
human
yeah.
design. And so when people tell you that the answers are inside yourself, we all hear that and it's like, oh my God, how cheesy. Like, what does that even mean? Oh my gosh. It just answered everything. What does that mean? It showed me exactly what I'm here to do, how I'm meant to work with people, and finding out like a lot about the unconscious part of yourself. There's a lot of like even psychologists and psychiatrists, all these people that are studying the mind and things like that that will tell you there is an unconscious part of yourself, but nobody tells you who it is, and it's really not something that's generalized. That's why you have a distinct, like, unique design. And so when I learned that, and mine is to basically fail forward, pick yourself up, try again, look at these failures as lessons and things like that. Something that, me being on my conscious side, a one, which is like, I need my foundation and the stuff everybody in society fed. Like, it's just, oh, have your foundation, make sure everything's safe, make sure you know everything before you go out there and share this. That was the complete opposite. And so once I kind of let this unconscious part of me come out to play, it's been it's just been a dream, like to just sit there and go out on adventures, meet new people,
Five things. So
and
you're a one
just
three.
yeah, yep, yep, see, yep. And so
I with that one profile in mind, because I'm a 5'1", for anyone who knows human design, I have loved learning and even considered teaching it for a hot minute. So I
And
love
yeah,
like,
and don't let the shadow of that kind of just be like,
oh
I don't
yeah.
know enough. I just have
Mhm.
to like take turns now pausing and being like, oh, we've learned this. You've definitely mastered it to the best of your ability. Share it because somebody needs to hear it. And that's like the caveat. And
And
with
we
you, it's
see
showing up as a leader, as that five. That is with practical solutions to the masses. That's what you're here to do.
it's so
So,
funny how we see that so many times in a lot of people where it's like, I don't, it's that we call it imposter syndrome. There's many names for it where we're like,
mhm.
no, I'm not quite ready yet. Let me learn more. Let me go back to school. Somebody else needs to give me permission outside of myself. Wait,
Yeah,
I need someone to hold my hand, somebody to give me a degree, someone to give me something
yeah.
to tell me that
And
I'm
I can't
allowed.
do anymore. It's like, yeah, because that's my go-to. Maybe I should like get certified in that. I
Yep.
could easily have like what Bob
Uh-huh.
Proctor used to call like an alphabet going off your business card. If I let myself loose like that, I would probably have like several master's degrees. I settle for certifications, but I even like just kind of
Yeah.
rein that in. Um, because I
Well,
do know enough and you don't need that. Like
right.
you
And
honestly
it's
don't.
all about coming home to this. No, if you know enough right now to help one person, then you know enough. If
Yep.
you've helped yourself, then you already know enough. And all that takes is talking to one person and seeing them light up
Yeah.
and seeing how you can actually already make a difference where you're at right now. And if you're holding back, then that's a problem because there's people who need you in the world.
Yeah. And I did that for like 2 years where I Bob Proctor he called it the knowing doing gap. That's what my coach had called it too. It's the knowing doing gap. And I was stuck in that for 2 years. I'm paying this coach a lot of money. And I was sitting in the knowing doing gap, just learning more, learning more, learning more, until it was just like you know enough. You know enough. And I was wondering where that came from. And then once, human design was like introduced, it's like, oh, okay. So now I understand that. And now I have to like understand now how to take myself out of the shadow of that line and really bring myself to, all right, what is the gift and what do I need what am I meant to use with all this knowledge and bring that out. And so it's beautiful when you know that, and then when you start to really study specific things that are lit up in your design, and it's like a lot for me was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to do that? I'm meant to do that? And like, really?
It feels
And
like a permission slip.
yes,
It
because now
so does.
there is no imposter syndrome when you finally recognize yourself in your unique design. And for a while now, like a couple, like maybe like 2 years now, I'm so happy that I'm like, I can honestly look at other people and just say, oh my God, what they're doing is genuinely like awesome and really cool, and before I can like spit out some nonsense like, oh, I should do that too, or something like that, if it doesn't align with anything that I'm meant to do, because now it's just a clear roadmap. If that's not going to help bring this purpose out into the world, then I don't need it. But I can say to myself, maybe in some way I could bring my authentic self to sharing something with that person or doing that, but I'm not trying to be that person anymore, which is so, so powerful. There's no, like, I don't feel like I have to be this person to be successful or to just be like it's amazing. There is no more
Yeah.
looking outside. That's truly what not seeking that
Outside
happiness
validation.
and
Yeah.
everything from everybody else. You're gonna, like, when you study yourself, you're you're never bored. I mean, when I tell you, if you go down the human design rabbit hole
Yeah.
for the
It's
rest of your life,
fascinating.
yes.
It's so fascinating.
And
And then you can
asin
you have the opportunity then to study. I have 3 kids and a spouse, so I mean I've studied their charts.
mm-hmm.
Like, whoa, this
And
is
it's different. And when you said before that you were a projector, that was um just that was a game changer, being a manifesting generator. I get confused with the two because we learned BG5, which is human design for business, is what I'm
yes,
learning
yep,
also.
which I'm familiar with.
So it's advisor and projector. So I have to like go back and forth in my head. But for my son, who by the way, the only thing that is open on his chart, and if anybody's familiar, is what makes him a projector. Everything else is filled in completely. The rest of his head, his like
So he's the
conceptualization,
opposite of
everything.
me.
Oh, really? Are you
So
open?
that's what makes me a mental projector is that everything's open
Oh,
except for
so
my head
you're
and ajna.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's completely defined. And when people are like, I
yes,
can't understand why he's so stubborn. And when, for people that don't know, when you're defined, what they call defined, everything is, if something is colored in or whatever, there's a sense of self that when you're
yeah,
operating accordingly, we'll say, you just have this sense of self, and you really can only really learn from yourself and your things. You can get some things out there. If you're like not colored in, you're meant to like really get things from your environment and kind of learn from there. But he is so funny. He just has this, it's like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not, whatever. He even like, and he was serious. He was like, I really wish you didn't have to work because I really think I should be homeschooled. I agree. I actually agree.
it
But
is.
you have to, I think it was so important that like we're a go, go, go society, and you and him, it's unfair because you don't
Mhm.
have the energy for that. And he has to, be nice at school. He has to go through 6 hours. We have a very boisterous family. And that's sucking you guys just don't have that capacity. So when he gets home and everyone's like, why are you just letting him watch YouTube, or why are you just letting him go ride his bike? Because he needs to. He's exhausted mentally, and when he wants to check out and be done, like it's like leave him alone. Like there's just ways now of just respecting him and his energy, and who he's like meant to be, and it's
Yeah.
really hard for other people to understand, but yeah.
Oh, and I've found so much like as a parent that has helped me with my family. So, I'm a 5'1", my husband's a 5'1", my youngest is a five
Wow.
one, my daughter's a 5'2", and then my severely autistic 13-year-old's a 2'4". But I realized that like we had so much
Wow.
conflict going on in our home because everybody wants to lead.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be in charge all the time. And I had this like epiphany when I was studying everyone's charts, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not because there's something wrong. It's
Yeah.
because we all have this innate desire to run the show. And,
Yeah.
we're all coming by it
Oh
naturally. So
gosh.
when I can give, my youngest his own things to be in charge of, and I can divvy up the duties and like make it a thing where it's like you're in charge. You
Yeah,
get to
your own
be
sphere.
right. It just changed my entire perspective in this
Yeah.
way where I had been viewing it as a negative thing. Like, why can't we all just get along? Why can't they just submit to parental, units being in
Mm-hmm.
charge? What's wrong with me that I can't just, you know?
Oh gosh. Yeah, and it's allowing that and that 2-4 especially
And he's a projector like me, so he's
so that too has to, he's probably naturally good at so many things. And I work with students with autism, so it's almost like doubly being aware, at least you have a leg
yeah.
up here. But wanting to hermit, and when he wants to have that alone time, allowing that.
Hmm.
But also that 4 piece is really important for going out and
Socializing. This is my
meeting
child
people.
who
Yeah,
will he goes and gives people high fives literally everywhere.
yeah.
Like
And that's the
he's
other
making
side. But
friends and
when he wants to go like whatever, especially with that projector energy too, and just kind of going back, that's really
Mhm.
important for him. And on top of that, with the autism piece, definitely, but you truly have a leg up because
Yeah,
a lot of parents don't
understanding.
have that. And
Well, and I truly could talk human design all day
yeah.
long because I find it utterly fascinating. But I
Yes,
would
but
love to ask you about what it took to own, being a coach and being a human design coach, especially with that hurdle of, that one profile and being like, wait, do I really know enough when
no.
human design is this this
And I'm
never
still
ending,
learning.
bottomless pit of information? It's like, how could I ever possibly know enough about
Yeah.
this system to give readings and coach people on it, which is how I have felt. And then you know other readers because you learn from them and you're like,
Yeah.
they know so much. It, I want to ask you about the owning. Is
So
it,
it's
yeah,
owning that um, one, I own the fact that I'm still learning, and anybody else that claims to be the end all be all is BS too. Um,
yeah,
and I love the way that my coach is teaching me because it's more practical. And so for me, learning my purpose, learning what I'm meant to radiate out and everything else, then it's learning what my shadows are, what my gifts are, and then really going with that. So I'm always transparent with like the human design part, which I'm only like dipping a toe in right now. Gene keys I've gotten down pretty well, and I'm learning how to kind of move that with human design. But what it really taught me was like I have to really go through this through my experience. So nobody can really take that away from me, like how I've experienced things and really putting myself out there. And I really allow people to kind of learn this themselves. That's what it is. Ra and Richard did not want these people that are, I know everything about human design and I'm going to do a reading for you. That's not what they wanted. So newsflash, like if, that's not what they wanted. What they wanted is for people like me, like my coach, and other people that are now finally, I think, getting it, which is to learn this, but then teach this and teach people how to teach themselves. Because I could do a reading on your entire family, but yourself definitely and your entire family, and you're going to be able to put your own perspective and your essence into that. And then when coaching and any issues that come up, at least you have a much deeper understanding of yourself. I have a very deep understanding of you as well because we're reading your chart. I know what certain things mean, what's coming up, where it's coming up from. and how to do that. It's almost like I really like to say that I've become like this surgeon at being able to really help people. But the thing is, I just kind of say, I'll never really know enough. And I'm going through my experience, what I went through, and really helping people that way. So it can be confusing and it can be frustrating. It's just taking your time with it and taking what you want from it. You don't have to learn the whole thing. I literally for Gene Keys, it's going through what he calls the activation sequence, your life's work, your evolution, your radiance, and your purpose. And your
Yeah.
what we call your public role, which was what we were talking about. Are you a 1-3, a 5-1, a 2-4? And learning that if you learn that your whole entire life and you kept studying that, because you should, repetition is key. You'll always, I've listened to the same recordings of my Gene Keys, we call our core four. And I just listen to it on repeat or I read it on repeat. Something new always comes up, always.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a better understanding of yourself. So it's not trying to learn everything. It might just be something where you're like, I really want to know what is this problem that always comes up for me. I really just need to zero in there. And that might be it for somebody's journey in terms of Gene Keys or human design. That's it. And you don't have to go. Although there is really some fascinating things that you could do with other people and things like that. But the main thing is, what are some practical tools that you can really get from this and living your life and being able to apply it to your life?
I love this. And to me, I think what I'm getting here is it's like it's owning your gift and knowing
Mm-hmm.
yourself. And as you really grow in your self-worth and your understanding that I have something valuable just from my experience and my knowledge, and that alone is so valuable and can help people just because just the way you speak can help something click in somebody's mind.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that you feel like it's the same topic, it's been stated, it's been done, there's something about your unique energy. There's something about the way that you've had to live life and your experiences that just affects people a little bit differently. That might be the one thing that they needed.
Yeah.
And so owning that as a valuable thing is
Yeah.
what makes like a coach. Like
Yeah.
it's not because you know every single number and what every single thing means. That's all some stuff people can look up.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
we can do that together. I've done that because there's 64 of
right,
these
right,
things, gates or keys, if you know.
right.
And it's just something like literally my coach is a genius. I have the cards, I have a book, I could look it up
Hmm.
and you literally just kind of, and talk through it. I know mine inside and out, obviously, like what I
Yeah.
have, what pops up and why and where. But for everybody else, that's something for them to learn. And then, when coaching, it's something like I'll take a look at it and be like, oh, okay, this is what she's talking about. This is why this comes up and why such and such might like happen. It's really powerful, but it's putting the power back where it belongs. And that's in the knowledge and the hands of the person I'm coaching, a client.
Right. It's
Um,
back inside of us, and that's what allows us to
yeah.
rewrite our story, like you
Yes.
talk
It's
about,
not
because
mine. Yeah, it's not my story. It's not my
right.
story
And
to rewrite.
it's not in a way that's like this is an excuse to be, a certain way. Like this is an excuse to never know enough to be a coach. Like we were talking about, this imposter syndrome. Like this is an excuse to go get 6 master's degrees because I'll never feel good enough.
Yeah, no.
Oh, this is why I feel this way. I don't have to.
No.
I actually
And
already
just
know
share it.
enough.
And you will find that there's just things where if somebody decided to do this, there's a different way, there's a different message, there's something else that they're meant to do. Not everybody has to show up as a leader. Like I thought I was that person that wasn't meant to show up as a leader, just like follow along, whatever. For me, that was a big shock. But the way in which I was meant to do it was really powerful, which is to bring people back to their purpose. So that 3740 tribal type of energy is something that I'm meant to do. And I knew I wanted to work with women. And I knew that a lot of women had a similar story of just not even having a clue of who they are because they've given this power away. So, like, for their entire life. And it's like,
Mhm.
if you don't know who the heck you are, because it took me a whole year. My coach was like, "What do you want?" And I was just listing off things that I
Right.
wanted, that everybody else wanted for me. And I
Yeah.
had to be like, "Oh no, he wants that," or "My parents always wanted that." And this is where it's just like you can't dispute this. There is no imposter syndrome. This isn't like, "Oh, this has to be wrong." No, it's you. And the second something like that came up for me, it was like, no, it says right here in black and white that you are a leader and this is how you're meant to show up. If you decide to step into that person, there's no disputing that. There is no more imposter syndrome. You can always look back to that and say, this is what I'm meant to do with confidence. And it gets more and more as you're like, no, but this is me. This is me. And it just
And
keeps
you can
showing up.
feel it. You can
Yeah.
feel it. Like this isn't some like foreign thing where like, oh, there's just a couple like this is so if you've never heard of this modality and you're like, yeah, but there's six different no, this is like so unique and so individual. There are no
Yeah.
two that are the same. Like it gets so involved and you look at it and I've showed people their charts who had never heard about human design and they
Hmm.
were like, "Oh my gosh, like
It just resonates.
how can this possibly be so accurate? Like there is no way." And it just you feel it. You
Yeah,
look at
because
that for
for
the first
once it
time.
hits your soul and it's like something that was so dormant in you for so long is like, finally, yeah, you see me. You're not
Right.
doubting me. You're not looking anywhere else. I was here all along. That
Yeah.
was the
Ooh, I
powerful
love
part of
this.
it. Yeah.
And I feel like what this is coming down to over and over again is like study yourself and it will change your life.
Yeah, only you. It's only you and all the problems and everything else that comes up. Yes, it's some interactions with other people, but it's how you're choosing to reflect and what we're allowing, those were two hard things. Another hard
Yeah.
thing that it's what we're choosing to allow, and there is no imposter syndrome here. It's just, I get how, like, I mean, because everybody would say all these beautiful things and, oh, we're capable of so much. Well, what am I capable of? Like, there's some stuff I knew. I knew I was really great with working with people and helping people, but that could be anything. Was I meant to be a nurse, a doctor? What, like, I,
Where do I belong?
yes,
So hard to figure out.
yeah, and education was great, but I like something is like, okay, that's not enough. That's not enough. Like, and but this shows you like what
Where's
you,
it coming from?
yeah, this is you. And all the questions and problems and things like that, like how some, even there was one jinky, I think it's funny how it's meant to, you're almost like, it almost insinuates that you're like, you irritate people, but you're provoker. Like you're meant to provoke. And sometimes that is in a
I,
negative way. And you're like, why do I piss people off? And it's like, but if when you are operating accordingly and you're doing what you're meant to do,
oh yeah.
yes, you're poking and you're provoking people, but in a good way.
It is a gift to be triggered. And whichever one that one
Yeah.
is, I have that one. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Probably. You
Oh,
probably do. You
yeah.
got to
I'll,
look it up.
anyways, this has been incredible. Tell us how we can work with you and find you and follow you.
Yes. So SashaGreenidge.com, there's a rewrite your story session, which is absolutely powerful. I really made it a safe space where women can feel really comfortable about sharing and answering questions that nobody's asked of them. I guarantee it. Everybody leaves, whether they work with me or not, like, oh my gosh, I have a direction, I have a purpose, I have whatever. Um, and so that's at sashagreenidge.com. I also send you the link for a free Gene Keys profile, and I will give you your tidbit about what you are and ahead of the session. I'm on IG at Sasha Harris _Greenidge. Same with TikTok and Sasha Harris Greenidge on Facebook.
Amazing. I hope everyone comes and takes advantage of that because it really is
It's free.
it's so life-changing.
Yes.
It's so life-changing to study yourself and understand more about who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely. It changes relationships, everything. Just by you being you and letting them be them.
so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Be the Dream podcast. In the show notes, you're going to find links to be a guest on the show, the free Jumpstart Journal, and a place to book your free idea analysis session where I spend 15 minutes one-on-one with you breaking down your business idea and helping you go from inspiration to action plan. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend and let them know that you're thinking about them. Let's share inspiration with as many people as we can. We could all use a little more motivation. See you next time, and until then, remember to be the dream.